So, welcome to another powerful episode of Victim to Victor, where we journey into the depths of healing, spirituality, and personal empowerment. Today, we are honored to host Benjo Podlech, a remarkable spiritual guide and coach dedicated to embodying the sacred masculine to serve women and men on their journeys of transformation and healing. With work that spans 16 countries, Benjo has helped thousands tap into their inner strength, nurturing profound healing and personal awakening. Benjo's path, shaped by early experiences with spirit presence, deep self reflection, and transformative losses, has empowered him to bring light into the lives of those navigating trauma. His journey into spiritual development began over 2 decades ago with Reiki and has evolved through psychology, philosophy, NLP, ontological coaching, and extensive work with sacred medicines in Latin America and Europe. Today, Benjo's heart-centered approach, rooted in love, humor, and deep empathy, draws from the wisdom of Mother Earth and the four elements, inviting others to discover and amplify their own potential. Welcome to the show, Benjo. Such an honor to have you here.
Thank you for the presentation, the invitation, and to be here to give seats together for anyone who listens this in the future.
Oh, amazing. And something which I didn't mention in my introduction was that Benjo was the medicine man for my most recent ceremony that I had in Ibiza with We Are Avalon. And I was just touched by his presence and his guidance and wisdom. And I just felt obliged to ask him onto the show because I want whatever he shared in that ceremony to be shared across the globe and with my listeners. Hence why you're here, Benjo, today.
Wow, thank you for that ceremony. Now the ceremony is live, so now we are creating another ceremony together.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So, Benjo, your journey has taken you through various spiritual and therapeutic paths. Can you share a bit about what led you to this work and how your personal experiences shaped your approach to healing?
Well, since the beginning of my life, since I have 4 or 5 years old, that is the truth. I start to have experience with the spirits, feeling my body is not my body, my family is not my family, and I say why I am here. And I was like a old man in a baby body, and since the beginning, I have relation with consciousness, and the presence, and not just take what I receive related more to recreate what I want. So since the beginning, I was super authentic, high sensitive. So with that conditions, I start to follow my intuition. Um, was very hard because the people don't believe me what I saw, what I perceived. They believe was a creation of my mind, and I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't a creation of my mind. I used to get panic attack in the night when I felt the spirit touch my body, and I learned with 7 years old how to control my mind and breathing. So I don't know if something I choose. I believe more is something I allow to guide my life. Because I love to be sensitive. I love to perceive. I love what we call spiritual. For me, something very practical also. So I continued these steps during my teenagers, and then my dad dying, and I say I want to study psychology, and I was very good student. I represent my university in different tournament of debate because I'm very good to argue. If you ask me or you push me, and I won a scholarship in philosophy diplomacy. So I am very nerd.
Mm.
An academic from academic background. I'm super nerd, but also very involved in experience. So the nerd side, experience side, and the capacity to connect with different cultures, people, women and men around the world gave me this, what you call this approach. For me, is a lifestyle, you know, because, for example, you was in my ceremony in Ibiza, and one of the moment of my ceremonies when I pray, you know. when we felt the medicine, not drugs, medicine.
Mm.
In the praying, we know why is medicine, not the drugs, for example.
Mm.
So in that moment when I praying and you was there, I felt all the people, including you, open up something in the chest, like explosion of something, That moment for me, like I say, in that moment, with all of you, deserve all my effort to just appreciate another space when you can back to your heart, you come back to your soul, and you can feel what I say, not just thinking. When you feel it, that you can experience through your body, through your emotions, and you will realize it's not crazy, it's very healthy. For me, that moments deserve the best of me. So I'm glad to have the strength to support many judgment during my life, many struggles during my journey of creating my work. Wasn't easy at all. It was super hard, almost impossible. But here I am,
Yeah.
and now it's real.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something that I mentioned to you that just your I could just sense, the passion and the force of love that you had for us, and yeah, and I feel that's why because you just embraced that so beautifully. I feel like we all just opened up to it, like yes, give us love.
Hmm.
It was beautiful. Thank you. And so you mentioned in that you work with the sacred masculine. Can you explain what the sacred masculine represents and why it's essential in both women's and men's healing journeys?
Um, you know, 11 years ago, I have the capacity to listen to nature. Plenty people have different gifts. One of my gifts have the capacity to hear the nature, and I translate that what I hear through my speech, workshop, rituals, whatever. So 11 years ago, some energy start to call me, say, "Who are you?" I am sacred masculine. I say, "Hi, nice to meet you." And he asked me, "Do you want to have a journey with me? Do you want to work with me?" And I say, "Oh, but who you are?" And he say, "Finally, someone asked me who I am, more than say what I have to be." Oh, I say, "Wow, that's deep, man." Say, "Yes." So that metaphor is because inside of the sacred masculine concept metaphor meanings, you have trauma, you have insecurities, you have relations, you have purpose of life, you have your capacity to be in the present. You have like 7 elements around that sacred masculine. So the first thing I found it was the confusion between sacred masculine and patriarchy. That program we have in the society when we have competitions, we want power, we manipulate, etc. And I found it was a program. So that program is so clever, like the patterns. The people used to say masculine and patriarchy is the same and say, no, it's not the same. Stop there, please. No. So I start to go very deep in that topic through psychology, through coaching, through plant medicine. And the most powerful thing was when I traveled to Egypt, Iceland, Mexico, Peru, Africa, Middle East, to ask to the heart, because for me this planet is alive and it have a lot of consciousness. So if the people who listen this don't know that, well, I have to say this planet is very wise, is alive, have consciousness, and we are part of this planet. We are not owner of this planet. So just in case. And
Thank
when
you.
I travel, for example, when I went to Iceland and I did ceremonies there, I guide a retreat for men, Vikings. I felt the purity to be a man. I say, what is this? I say, come on, where is from this meaning? And the land, the nature, and this group of men work through healing appears that purity. And I say, okay, sacred masculine has something related of purity, tenderness, softness, kindness, flexibility. And when I start to say this around the world, the people say, no, 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 what is that? And I say, well, sacred masculine, this energy alive, start to teach me this. So it's not something I create, it's something I hear. So for a while, I saw the consequence and the effects in women and men when they say, okay, I want to know what is that. First, I want to integrate what is that. Second, and the change is very fast, deep, and amazing. It's like if I can give you a metaphor, it's just, you finally get back one of your feet. You need 2 feet.
Yeah.
And sacred masculine give you the second one you need to walk in your life. The other one is sacred feminine.
Feminine, yeah.
Use sacred, we use the concept sacred because it's something important, something alive, something with consciousness, something when you ask or when you have experience with plant medicine like you can feel that energy respond to you. So that is the reason I call sacred. And masculine is a mystery. Obviously, I use all my channels, psychologist, coaching, blah, 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 through me became the voice of this energy. And many women, but I will give you a very strong example for the people who listen. For example, I went to Greece, to Creta. The last matriarch in the world was in Creta, in Greece. And I went 3 times to guys' retreats there. So the first one was with 15 men and 20 women, approx. And I create the dynamics 2 days, and the second day I hear and I create a very strong dynamic I never did before, and say, okay, I hear something, I have to do it. So in a few words was separate women and men, and in the middle of the room, each one of the men stop in the middle, they saw the women and express all the pain and sadness they have with women. And they start to cry in the men. They crying, they how the trauma they have from the women. And even the other men, they are all in the space, they start to cry because your pain is my pain.
Interesting.
And then the opposite, the women start to come in the middle and share the pain in front of the men, blah, blah, blah. And the men, they didn't know how much pain you have, the women, how much traumas with men.
Okay.
And what was the consequence of that? The women, they told me they healed traumas in that moment. Why? Because they finally appreciate, observe, and feel the pain of men. And the men receive the pain of women.
Okay.
And when we put the pain in the middle, we can switch and heal wherever we have together. So sacred masculine teach me that things, for example.
Very interesting, yeah. And it is interesting because I never knew like this was your kind of main area of interest. Because in the actual ceremony,
Yeah.
these were the messages that I kept getting as well. Because as a trauma survivor, I've been very much in my masculine energy because of, barriers, defense mechanisms, the ego. And the plant medicine helped me to understand that that it's safe to express more on my femininity. I don't need to remain in the masculine energies consistently. And I just feel that that was such an important message for me because what happens when we're in our masculine energies, and I feel like we just don't flow, do we? As women, because women should flow. We should be more vulnerable as women, shouldn't we? And be more accepting. But when we have our barriers up, it's just like defense. It's like, stay away from me, I can't trust you. Which is a common trauma response. Mm. And that's something that I wanted to discuss more about is how did your work actually help people who have experienced trauma find healing, especially those who may feel disconnected with their own inner strength?
Well, traumas is a very universe and deep topic. So first, it's not push more than what they can all the space. For example, just for a few of them, just to talk is enough. Other is crying, for the other is screaming, for the other is touching, for the other is pushing. So when you have that spectrum to respect how the nervous system of each one of the people with traumas can make a step, is the first approach. So when you honoring each step in the way he is, without expectation, it's not necessary to screaming to make a step, for example. The people can first realize how is the nervous system, how is the trauma. Slowly, kindness, softness, And when they can feel that wall or that automatic response with kindness in a safety space, they can observe that. So I hold the space for groups, but they can observe together his own traumas with kindness. And when you can observe your trauma with kindness, then I ask you, what do you want? Because some people, they need just to stop there, I'm breathing, I keep the space. So it's an art to heal the traumas, because it's not about to healing fast. That is not the approach for my point of view. For my point of view, it's two things. It's my approach with thousands of people. First is observation of the trauma, then recognition of the trauma, how it's manifesting in your body, and third, making that in a group, not alone. When you have this three approach, I use the sense of humor, for example. Did you see it in my ceremony? I use the sense of humor like an art to
Yes.
unblock things,
Yeah.
and the acceptance of the group for your own traumas. So also, when you can feel the traumas, I call the responsibility also. The power of your responsibility. What means that? We can put compassion to your traumas. We can understand a bit where it's from. We can take why it's now, but also from my magic approach, we can call your consciousness to make something unique. And for example, realize you are more than your traumas. That was the call I did in the ceremony when I say, feel this love, people, breathing this love. That was the metaphor, because
Okay.
you feel it, the power of your consciousness is bigger than the power of your traumas.
True. Yeah.
That was the example I did in that moment. And you can see the consequence. Well, the speech we have before to start, you make a lot of change. So that is a little approach with kindness also, but with the power of your consciousness, with the power of your love, with your power, you can transform yourself.
Yeah.
So with that approach, I like to touch the traumas, not just to, I have to be honest. Yes, you can spend 5 years working your traumas. Okay. But in my approach, you can do it shortly, because it's not just psychologist approach. I have many approach.
Yeah.
And definitely the group is one of the big medicine to switch the traumas. Why? Because the trauma start with someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with someone else, a group, you can switch the nervous system and become new information for your body.
Very interesting. Wow, that is yeah, because as you were talking, I was just thinking, what's the opposite of love? It's hate. So when you hate yourself, which is a common, response as we grow up, if we've experienced childhood trauma, then majority of us do end up hating ourselves because our whole world view is distorted. Then we're going to not value ourselves as much, and we're not going to attract the right partners into our life because we don't feel much about ourselves. Whereas when we start to feel love with ourselves, then the whole world will change, and then you'll start to realize your worth and your high value, and your standards will increase, which is what's happened with me.
Mm.
Very interesting. Thank you. So, do you find like there's a common pattern or thread amongst survivors who are looking to heal from trauma?
The control freak,
Oh, okay.
try to understand every single step during the process. The difficult to trust, the difficult to receive. My God, come on. It's like that is huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the, among the people I saw it with trauma, it's even more hard to receive, to ask help. You have to be honest, you know. And and I can understand, because when you receive, you're vulnerable, you don't have control, and you
Mm,
need to trust. So imagine,
yeah.
no. So when you are with a stranger like me in the ceremony, we back to the sample just to put in the ground what we speak. I ask all of you, please trust. Give me the opportunity to give you love. I ask permission to give you love in the beginning. You remember, I asked permission to give, and the people say, "What?" I saw the face,
Yeah.
and I say, "Why not?" So that common response to don't feel conditions
Mm, yeah,
with
yeah.
someone want to just give you something beautiful through experience, it's very not comfortable for people with trauma.
Mm,
That also is common. It's common to don't feel right or feel like a bit. What is the trump to feel so much beauty?
yeah.
And when I saw that response, I used my sense of humor. Again. So and why I use my sense of humor, because that response is like a automatically voice or glasses to
Mm,
this to don't see the reality in front of you. When I use the sense of humor and you can laugh in haha, I say, hello, can you see this reality in front of you with a smile?
yeah.
And the people can, the 95% with my sense of humor, they make it. So um, it's very important, like a facilitator or psychologist, coach, wherever you want to keep the space for others, don't take personal the reaction,
Okay. Mm,
because some people, they don't really like to feel peace.
mm,
You know,
yeah.
all relative of peace, calm, unconditional love, acceptance. In the beginning, it's not comfortable for trauma bodies, for nervous system so touched of traumas.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
True.
they are not, is what is this? And I
Mm,
say, hello. So that not comfort sensation, in the same time, is feeling for a long time I didn't feel this.
mm,
And when I like the people can observe this, they'll realize, okay, so what I don't like in this moment is something I need. Boom. And when they switch that, they can change the attitude. And what happened? I can give you a hug.
interesting. Yeah, because the barriers go down and they're more accepting. Yeah, and again, that's all down to trust as well.
Yeah.
Big thing, yeah. So spirituality is such a personal journey. So for you, what does living a spiritual life mean, and how do you integrate this into your day to day?
Wow. For me, spirituality is something, the meaning is changed during the time, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that because it's a life journey. It's about to learn about life. It's understood and understand in the past and the present. Life is a mystery, and definitely you cannot your my personal meaning is not the meaning of life. I am just one voice of many voices.
Yeah.
So spirituality for me is about have the curiosity to explore life. It's the capacity to develop love for yourself or for anything you do. It's the capacity to and recognize we are not perfect. So it's like a spirituality for me is something you can say is everything. Yes, it's everything related from a point of view, and that point of view is understand when I breathe. For me, that is spirituality.
Mm,
When I train it before this podcast, it's spiritual for me. When I rest, it's spiritual. So spiritual is not something I cannot touch. Spirit
yeah.
is something I touch, I breathe, I feel, and for me also is the capacity to feel the soul of the people, to feel something beyond the mind,
Yeah.
you know. And so everything is spiritual for me. And so when I even with my inner voice, when I believe no one listen to me, my nervous system listen to me.
Mm,
My body respond to my inner voice. My soul, even you don't believe it, definitely we have a soul.
yeah.
Hear that. So in the end, we are not alone. We are part of something big in
Yeah.
a process of evolution, in a process to show the darkness and light, in a process to understood somehow we need darkness and light,
Mm,
not just light. Huh?
true. Yeah.
Um, the capacity to help others, the capacity to help yourself. And for me, the last 2 3 years, I choose to develop more, to be more kind with me, with people,
Mm,
embrace the tenderness, um, honoring my authenticity and obviously the authenticity of others. So for me, spiritual is anything related of authenticity. Anything is real. Anything is unique. Anything is from nature, from the universe, for what we cannot see, for what we can't see. And what is not spiritual? That is a good question I can make. Is maybe the patterns.
mm, yeah.
Maybe the automatic response is a loop to don't see the spiritual front of you
Yeah.
because you recreate the same reality over and over again to don't trust in anyone, to don't trust in men, to don't trust in yourself, to don't let it go the work or a relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be spiritual the learning, but the learning became when you change.
Yeah.
So when the people say we learn about everything, they say, wait, we learn about everything, we make steps.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
So that is spiritual for me. So for me, it's a daily day life. So and also it's not so serious. Also have sense of humor. Also the surface is spiritual. So and I am navigate the mystery for 24 years. I have more questions than answers, and
Oh,
I love that.
yeah. Brilliant. Oh, wow. I love that. And so, because there's many spiritual beings who I've met, and they always talk about feelings of, rejection and feelings of loneliness because they are obviously, going on a different path towards the rest of the people. So I know that you've also followed a similar journey as well, and I just want to know what advice you have for others who may be struggling with similar experiences.
Oh, I have many. One is you don't if you feel alone, isolated, could be a sign you are yourself. You are becoming authentic. Second, don't feel shame or shy because you start to have some perceptions or you start to recognize you are high sensitive or you are not anymore the same person with the same group of friends the last 10 years and you change. Don't feel blame to be different because if you start to be different, you start to be more alive.
Yeah, yeah,
So also ask help, you know.
yeah,
For you, for me, I am available in English and Spanish, any place of the world. If you want to talk, if you want to I am here. It's like we don't need to do this alone.
yeah,
That is, we are not so independent. We are interdependent. I need the water to breathe, to be alive. I need the air to be alive. I
yeah.
need the love to be alive. So my advice is so beauty to need these things to
Mm,
become a human. And when we are humans, we can become divine. And when we are divine, we are simple, humble, openness, and we help each other. So my advice, please go on. Even no one understands you. We are a few people around the world. We can understand you
yeah, yeah, true.
because not when you don't follow the society or your family expectation, you start to follow who you are.
Yeah.
So please go on. I hope.
Oh, aho, aho. Oh, I love that. So continue your journey, yeah, and try
Yeah,
and find your tribe along the way and connect with people. And social media is great for that as well. So
yeah.
many communities now that they can do that. And so let's talk a bit about Mother Earth and the elements because they're pretty significant in your work. How do you incorporate the wisdom of nature in your own like healing practices?
Um, look, some ancient indigenous or they create some geometry to create contact with nature. So when they spoke about air in a Western translation is about mind.
Yeah.
Mind means voice, judgment, reflection, expressions, breathing, etc. All relate of mind and rationality. When they spoke about water in Western translation is emotions, feelings, anger, sadness, happiness, shame,
Mm.
and not prefer ones more than others. Each one have a space to flow and move and express. And when
Yeah.
you express your pain, it's different to keeping the suffering because suffering is something you choose and pain is something you can surrender. And when you expressing your pain, you start to be suffering,
Mm.
to suppress your pain, etc. So the water represent that in this concept, this meaning of the 2024. The fire represent your purpose of life, your
Yeah.
essence, your soul, your life, your motivations, inspiration, why and for what you are here, you are listening this podcast, for example.
Mm.
Why in this moment we are talking about fire and you can have a candle, you can turn on, look the candle and hear my words
Yeah.
and say, so that is the meaning of the fire. And the heart means the body,
Okay.
the memory. We have histories in our bodies. We have some sensation in our body. We have a body language.
Mm.
So that elements represent. dimension of ourselves and also archetypes of the reality. So you can translate that through different levels to check it's not just a belief, it's a way to describe what we are. And when you use that geometry in the daily day, for me, it's very powerful and easy to check. For example, when you overthinking, maybe it's because you have so much pain you don't want to feel.
Okay.
So when I hear you, I can say, okay, but what do you feel about what you say? And know what do you think about this? And when I change the question, it's because I start to feel your waters. Through my body, I receive you, and I feel, oh, something here is dense. What happened here in your? You can talk to me about anything, maybe elections, whatever. But what do you feel here? The people stop and say, I don't feel right, and they start crying or feel pain. You know. So that four elements can help you to approach to someone to help or support the space, or you can use it also to check your relations.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the patterns, the traumas respond. For example, one pattern I used to have for 20 years was the saver. I used to save my family, my couples, everyone, and during that process, I abandoned myself. So my water was given through the emptiness to deserve love. And when I find it, I lost my water to give other waters, and they love to receive my water and say, it's enough. And I start to give myself this water also with my air to appreciate the water I have.
Yeah.
And then connect with my fire. My purpose of life is not abandon myself, it to be became more alive every day. And with my heart to feel my body strong to keep it this. And finally, I don't lose water. I have more water now.
Yeah.
So even with this approach of the elements, you can water traumas.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Thank you for describing that in detail. And so obviously this episode won't be complete unless we talk about sacred medicines as well.
Of
And
course.
so yeah, so would you recommend sacred medicines and ceremony to everybody, or would you only recommend it to certain individuals?
Oh, it's something deserve to experience once in your life in general.
Mhm.
Also, then depend of your situation. You know,
Yeah.
what is your history of mental health? Because some people, in my experience, I spent 12 years with plant medicine.
Yeah.
Some people they want to take ayahuasca or mushroom, and then look at them. Why? They respond and say, "Are you sure you want to take medicine, or maybe you need a hug?" So when I that is a metaphor to understand for every single needs or situation, we have some solutions. So plant medicine is very strong, very deep, because you definitely got to unblock things. You got to open yourself. You got to be vulnerable. You got to feel more what happened in yourself. You got to hear your truth and stop to lie yourself.
Mm,
And who need that? That depends. I need to talk with each one. You know, every profile is unique. But if you don't have a mental health history so unhealthy, and in general you are stable, could be a very, very beautiful experience to know yourself better. And also, if you have traumas and you spend years with the traditional therapy, you can check with someone, for example, me or another friends, we are psychology and we work with plant medicine, we are not so many, to check your profile and see, I can see which medicine you can use it, for example. You know, for first timer, I recommend rapé, for example, or mushroom.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
But if you want to go more deep, could be ayahuasca
Mm.
and or bufo or extremely deep with iboga, So depends
Mm.
in your state, which medicine, in which container, with who is very important. So don't just looking for in Google. Please ask people who they already know people, because I observe a lot of fake people doing this just for money.
Mm.
And from my past, I do this to honoring the soul of people, not just for money.
Yeah.
So ask to the right people, not just looking for Google, please.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's really helpful. And I will be adding some links into this episode as well, for, where they can find out more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to ask as well about deciphering people's mysteries to awaken their potential, because that's something that you often speak about. And what does the process look like for you, and how do you help people to unlock part of themselves they may not even realize are there?
Hmm. Well, first I need to convince them uh, you still don't know completely yourself.
Mm.
So when you say, okay, maybe I don't know complete myself, I say, okay, we can check more things about you.
Mm.
And when we start to check, we start to heal some patterns, so density, some block to stop you to feel who you are, or you repeat the same choice all over and over again. So first is cleaning, then is unblocking, then is feeling. Four is alignment and connecting with something bigger than your mind. And finally, have the courage and braveness, both, to get a step from that side of you calling soul magic in the world. And when you do that, for example, I did that 2 days ago with a very successful client, a woman who have a odontologic clinic, very successful, and she want to awake his magic in my program of 8 sessions. And the last session, I went to her home, and the day after, 2 days ago, I went to his clinic, and she organized a speech. That speech, what she said was the way for me to observe his process to present his new version, his her magic version to the world. And
Wow.
she did it. And then he made me the space to did my magic with through the speech. But was she was the first, and she did it. And then when I come in and did my magic and say thank you, blah blah, everyone happy, blah blah. But that was the metaphor. And I love to see the people doing that. That was the step beyond the professions she had, was from his heart. She want to create a space of consciousness for people to work with peace. It's like a whoa, say,
Wow.
please do it. So I love to do that, and I am very good doing that. And so beauty is my God. Thank you for us.
Absolutely. So, and we'll talk about your services shortly. Well, I've just got another question, because there's a lot of death and loss
Yeah.
happening at the moment. So many young deaths that I'm coming across, and just cancer, and just people dying instantly at the age of 40 from a heart attack. So I just wanted to understand, in what ways your experience with death and loss has actually influenced your understanding of healing and the human spirit.
Well, the death is something I taste very close many times. Um, so people I love, they die in front of me, you know.
Mm.
and then the grief, you know, and then when someone I love, they lost someone else, I feel the wave of death again, and then it's like, okay, what is this? So the medicine of death is first, uh, remember you, remind you, you're alive for a short period of time. So you're alive for a short period of time, 100 years, 80 years, or 40 years, like you said. Then, this is like a poetry, but for me, if I can feel pain and sad, it's because I am alive. So I honor it to be alive to feel pain and sad, more than judge that feelings, you know. Then third, if I feel lost, it's maybe because I looking for a new meaning for my life, more than repeat the same meaning I hear for someone else. So the death is also the capacity to change. Some cycles is a representation of death, like when you stop to have a relationship. When I lived to my country 9 years ago, to just follow my intuition in a continent and country I didn't know no one else, not no one, and I start to do my things and I travel around the world after 7 years, you know, and so plenty of people I love they died in that period of time. So the death um, teach me many things all the time. One of the big things is in which way I can honor in the people I love. And the answer for me is creating the life of my dreams. More than be close of them, I prefer to create the life of my dreams.
Yeah.
And if I'm not dying because I am very long distance from her,
Mm.
at least I am creating the life of my dreams. And that is the way to say her, I love you.
Mm.
So the dead teach me what means the love.
Ah, okay.
And one of the things I learned after 14 years of grieving my dad is something I want to give you for the people here is I wondering why I still feeling this level of pain once per year.
Mm.
And after 14 years, I realized something very poetry, but this realization was the sign to close my grief. And what was the pain I used to feel to the loss of my father, the deep sense is a screaming, I love you.
Mm. Okay.
So when I realized I can still love him in
Mm.
another dimension, the grief was over.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. So just
Yeah.
screaming, I love you. Wow. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Yes, thank you. Yeah. And yeah, wow. I just feel like, again, I've had a friend whose father passed away yesterday. So, it's something that I'll be sharing with her. So thank you.
Yeah, please. Many people will lost when I sharing this. They say thank you for many years. They say thank you for what you say because definitely the grief is different. So
Yeah.
please take it, people.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Wow. So I'm sure my listeners will want to follow you and find out more about you and work with you. So tell us about, what you offer and where you are on the social media platforms and
Okay. In Instagram, I am Benjo Coach.
Hmm.
More than Benjamin, it's Benjo Coach. Very easy. Benjo Coach. Okay. Again, Benjo Coach. You can find me there. Yes, I used to put reels in Spanish, but I work in English a lot. So what I do, I can do therapies, I can do workshop, I can do speech, I can do retreat, I can do rituals.
Hmm.
All the channels of wellness, I am good in each one of them. Um, yes, you can find me in my website, benjopodlech.com. And where I am now, I am in Barcelona. In December in Peru. Well, if you want me, you need to write me very fast because I organize my schedule for the next year and already different countries start to call me. So I have some weeks free. So I would love to go to a new place to be on service.
Oh,
Um, for example, this speech, imagine then we can do a workshop, will be beautiful, you know.
yeah.
Anything. I am there. If service is call me, I go.
Oh,
So if you have a community, if you want something for yourself, a therapy, whatever, I am here. And please make the step and let's talk. Aho.
yeah. Do you come to UK much?
You know, 2 days ago, I felt it. I missed to be in Glastonbury, you know. And if someone invite me to do something on service, I definitely go.
Cool.
Um, but I went 3 times to UK, Scotland, England, and here I am. I am very close. So call me,
Yeah.
and we can check how to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I know a lot of people who run retreats. So yeah, absolutely. God. Yeah.
Yeah, I am open. You know, I love to be on service. So here I am.
Beautiful.
Aho.
Oh, Aho, thank you. Oh, wow. Benjo, it's just been an absolute honor just having you on the show and just hearing your insights and the amount of wisdom that you have to share with the world. I just think you're phenomenal and keep doing what you're
Mm,
doing. And it's such a graceful journey that you're on. Beautiful.
well, this is a gift. You know, I met you in a ceremony. I was on service. Now I am in your service through this podcast. So thank you for this spiral. You know, this is a spirit of service and give and sharing love or consciousness or whatever together.
Yeah.
So thank you for your trust and thank you for making this happen.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and yeah, I look forward to more ceremonies. It's just such a beautiful place to be in, when you're with Mother Nature and plant medicine as well. I just feel like it's a lovely combination, that, isn't it? Being out in the wilderness with plant medicine, connecting with nature.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
So thank you, my beautiful listeners. That's all we have time for today. Please do connect with Benjo. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. I will be leaving all the links in this episode, so you can just click away. And yeah, we love you, everybody. Stay blessed, stay happy, and I'll see you in the next show.